In 2002, Ferrari and Bridgestone utterly dominated the Formula One Grand Prix scene. In an endless quest for excellence, this formidable combination is creating an equally impressive impact off the track. From Ferrari comes the Enzo Ferrari. Its tyres, the Bridgestone Potenza. Potenza, Bridgestone's premier line of high-performance tyres. Applying all of its technical resources, Bridgestone has created a new tyre designed to beautifully transfer all the power of the strongest road car ever onto the street, the RE050. Potenza's history leading to the RE050 coincides with that of the world's sports cars since the 1980s. In 1982, the RE71 was developed from strenuous testing on the circuit. Assessed as a quantum leap in performance over levels at that time, it was approved as the standard tyre for the Porsche 911. Later on, the RE71 surpassed the high-speed endurance realm of 400 kilometers per hour and subsequently became the standard tread for that monster machine, the Porsche 959. Eventually, the Potenza was acknowledged by Ferrari. It became standard attire for the Ferrari Testarossa, the F40, and the 348. The name Potenza resounded the world over as the high-performance tyre of choice by top sports car makers. The Potenza also continued its prominence in racing. 1981, Bridgestone entered the European F2 Championship and quickly made a smashing impact on the European race scene by taking the flag in just its second race. In 1985, Bridgestone entered the newly established F3000 classification. Potenza won 10 out of 12 rounds and clinched the honour of equipping the first F3000 champion. From 1991, Bridgestone began its participation in the German touring car series. The following year, the Potenza helped AMG Mercedes to win the championship. Bridgestone continued its exploits elsewhere in Europe, at such grueling endurance races as the 24 Hours of Spa and Le Mans. And then it was on to Formula One. Success in international racing encouraged Bridgestone to tackle the most demanding racing series of all. Its development program delivered a promising F1 tyre faster than anyone had dared hope. The Potenza appeared on the Formula One scene in 1997, a year earlier than initially planned. In its debut year, the Potenza captured the attention of the Formula One community by delivering results far surpassing its expectations. McLaren was sufficiently impressed to switch to Bridgestone and Potenza in 1998. That season, in just its second year in Formula One competition, Bridgestone's Potenza won the championship. And it won again with McLaren in 1999. Bridgestone continued its winning ways with Ferrari from the 2000 season. And in 2002, Potenza pocketed its fifth consecutive win.
I mean, the biggest impression you have is that every race you think you have the best package you can achieve, and we do a huge amount of testing together with Bridgestone in Italy. We have dedicated a special test team for them in order to develop, because we know our opponents, they do the same, and we have to be one step ahead of them, so our target is very clear. And it's amazing that even though at one moment you think you have the best, the next moment they come with something better. And that shows the sort of technology, knowledge they have, and the motivation they have in order to keep on improving. We then sit together, we then analyze, and we then constructively try to improve the situation. And that's where, again, the relationship is so important, and where I believe Ferrari and Bridgestone are so strong. And it's no point to say, we will request this, we want that. It's what we discuss together, what we then achieve together. That's what counts, and that has been, I think, in a #1 status in a World Championship class, and that's what I believe we will be in future, even stronger.
A novel exterior that captures the image of the Ferrari Formula One car nose. Behind the cockpit interior, covered with carbon and leather, sits the 6-litre V12 engine, 660 horsepower and 67 kilograms per metre of torque. This awesome power is transmitted through a 6-speed, paddle-operated semi-automatic gearbox, a so-called F1-matic transmission. Bridgestone embarked on a 2-year mission to develop a tyre especially for this supercar. A street tyre with performance based on Formula One technology, and sensitively designed to communicate the will of the driver onto the road surface. The result was the Potenza RE050 Scuderia. Super lightweight, tenacious high-speed endurance, powerful grip, and grip loss suppression technology that reflects circuit driving. Its performance exceeds that of any conventional tyres to date. The steadfast partnership of Ferrari and Bridgestone built through Formula One, and Bridgestone's wealth of core tyre technologies were the key factors to the creation of the world's finest performance tyre.
When selecting a tyre for a special car like the Enzo Ferrari, it's important to consider how well the car's power is transferred onto the road surface. For this type of car, the tyre must not only be high performance, it's important that the car's performance and the tyre is tuned to a precise combination in order to achieve highly efficient balance. We already have a great accumulation of experience in such improvements through our work with Bridgestone in Formula One. Therefore, by utilizing our past experience from racing, we had very few difficulties in development during the Enzo project. Both companies worked towards tyre improvement, and as a result, we became aware that larger than normal tyres were more effective. This fact was also an important point in recording fast lap times, as the tyres enabled effective drift through corners. In this way, Ferrari and Bridgestone designers worked together through development and succeeded in creating the perfect balance that's indispensable for this type of car. Whoever drives this car will undoubtedly be pleased. You can control this car precisely without straying, under any condition. whether you're on a straight or a corner. This is because of the superior performance of the Enzo, and moreover, because the tire has been finely tuned specifically for this car.
They wanted to make a super lightweight, powerful car. In order to realize this lightweight, Ferrari set a demanding target for tire weight. This is the front tire. It's much lighter than the tires we use on small Japanese sports cars. The rear tire is extremely light compared to other tires of its size. This car has a power output of 660 horsepower, with top speeds of 350 to 360 kilometers per hour. So obviously the tire requires greater endurance, up to 380 to 390 kilometers per hour. Therefore, to what extent we could realize a lightweight tire combined with high-speed performance and high-speed endurance was most demanding. 350 kilometers per hour is the takeoff speed of a jumbo. Running round the Fiorano test course at full throttle on normal tires, you'll get various problems, such as blocks coming off. In testing, we normally use a similar car for evaluation. But in this case, there was no substitute for the Enzo, which meant that we had to work with Ferrari at Fiorano. As a result, we developed this tire through a great number of joint tests. The RE050 Scuderia employs an asymmetrical pattern. This is the outer side and this is the inner side. In Europe, the demands regarding wet performance are particularly severe. So, as you can see here, there are 4 thick grooves for high hydroplaning resistance. Also, on this side, which is positioned on the outer side of the corners, the tyre is subject to strong lateral forces. So we designed big blocks with suitable shape, tread depth and tread angle to overcome this. As for the inside portion of the tread, as it's not a race tyre, we had to pay attention to noise and uneven wear. So we placed these high-angle grooves and protective ribs in order to enhance dry performance and ride comfort. To achieve both light weight and rigidity, we employed Kevlar, a new material for tyres. The front tyre has a section width of 245 millimeters, the rear is 345 millimeters. There are cars with differing front and rear tyre sizes, but none by as much as 100 millimeters. This just shows how powerful the rear of this car is. In essence, it's exactly like a Formula 1 tyre. Maneuvering stability is high, as is grip, but with surprisingly good ride comfort. All signs of a good tyre. This tyre is definitely the next generation Potenza.
This tyre was tested under various conditions. We conducted drivability testing on the circuit, testing under highly adverse conditions such as wet road surfaces, and ride comfort evaluation. After each of these tests, decisions were made as to what further improvements were needed. And after all tests were concluded, this tyre achieved really good balance with the performance of the car. We are extremely satisfied with this precisely refined tyre. Okay, let's try driving around this Fiorano circuit. Actually, well up to 60% of the Bridgestone Potenza's development took place here, on this track. We've come to the entrance of the tightest corner on this course. Whatever the tire, you have to take this corner slowly. It demands the utmost traction. It's a very important point. From a traction perspective, the Potenza is truly an excellent tire. Now we're on the straight. This is where we reach maximum speed, and it's very crucial to handle braking at the end of the straight well. This tire delivers a really fantastic performance. What a great car, and what great tires.
The Enzo has been a very special project, and I have been more or less been involved from day one, which was the first time I have been so closely involved in development. I was there to give some of the comments. I think it's no surprise that when you look at the relationship, at the knowledge we have inside the team, inside our partners, that we use a lot of our technology, a lot of our knowledge to install and combine for the road car business. And especially if you build a car which has racing character, you then want to involve a lot more of our knowledge. And it's no surprise that we use Bridgestone tires on this car, because the collaboration is so close. They can easily understand what is the requirement for a Ferrari road car like the Enzo Ferrari, honestly. I started with it when I was in go-kart, and you see I'm still using Bridgestone tire. I think this shows what I believe and think about Bridgestone.
On the racetrack and on the street, Potenza. Now the newly born Potenza RE050. Evoking Bridgestone's passion for performance and for quality. That passion for excellence drives the Bridgestone contribution to ever higher performance on the finest cars in the world.